guys, this is going to be part 2 of the Sinistar restore. I was looking it over this morning. I need to pull the monitor out and I want to take these latches off the side. The coin doors I'm going to leave on, and I'm just going to paint them on the cabinet because they're in such good shape that they really don't need nothing but just a real light coat of paint. And they seem to have about the same sheen as the wood itself. So we're just going to leave those all intact. There's no reason to take them all apart. They're in really good shape. Everything's nice and clean. So we're just going to leave that as is. And then same thing with the back doors. I'm going to leave the back doors on. There's really no reason to start ripping all this apart when it's all there and it's all nice and clean. Even up in here it's all nice and clean. So I'm just going to tape this off when I paint the black. So basically the first thing I need to do is get these bolts that somebody put in through the side out, and then we can get the monitor out of here. And it looks like I'm gonna have to take it out the back door because of the way that they made these mounts. And then we'll get those latches off, and I'll get that door lock out. There's no key for that, and I always put matching ones in there anyway. So we'll get that taken out of there, and then we can body work these 4 holes where the monitor was, and we'll put a little bit of primer on them, and then we can dry that real quickly. We'll dry it for an hour or so, and then I'll be able to come in here and start taping this off, getting it ready to touch up the black. I'm gonna have to run out at some time and get some silver craft paint because I don't have that color. I have a bin of colors here, but I don't know if I'm gonna have to look and see what I have as far as blues and stuff like that too, because I might have to run out. Now this is just an acrylic craft paint. You can mix this stuff together with different colors to to achieve the color that you want. And I've had really good luck with putting clear coat over top of this stuff. Now when you clear coat over top of it, it kind of hides the brush strokes from when you paint it with the brush. So we'll have to see if there's a blue that is a close match or not. This actually looks pretty close. See, that to me looks real close, but obviously we'll have to do a test on it. That's what it looks like dried. That might be right on. There's not a lot of touch-ups to do. Somebody tried touch it up here so it's a little lighter blue, but this looks like this might fix that. And then we got to find a little bit of red, which is very, very minor. Looks like there was a trademark sticker here, and an R probably was on there at one point. So there's a clear sticker over it. I don't know if I'll mess with that too much. So, all right, let's get this monitor out of here. These 4 bolts out. I'm gonna open the back door up. Normally, on these Williams games, you would just slide the back, you would slide this tray out right here, and the monitor would come out with it. But because somebody mounted this horizontal in the cabinet, they made those brackets, and this is not being currently used, but we will be, mounting it back to normal afterwards. I do have another case, a frame for a monitor for an upright, because these are all bent. Or I can bend these straight, I'm not sure yet. But let me find a socket that'll fit these holes right here. I think it's 7/16 what they used. Now I always save these carriage bolts and stuff because why have to buy more if you don't need to? Because you can always paint these. But this is going to be a pretty easy restore as far as the cosmetic work. And now the as far as the boards, the Cinestar boards, I do not have any yet. I I actually just found a set of original working Robotron board set for my Robotron cabinet. So now I can take my J-Rock board out of my Robotron cabinet and put the original board set in there. So Robotron's gonna be running on original hardware. For now, what I'm gonna have to do with Sinistar is put a J-Rock board in there. So we will take the wiring harness out of the Robotron cabinet and put that harness into here because it is a multi-Williams harness from Arcade Shop. And then we'll run the J-Rock board in here until I can find or piece together the circuit boards for Sinistar, which appear to be not super hard to find, but there is one board that I think is specific for just Sinistar, and I think that's the one that's real hard to get, and I don't remember which one that is offhand. But eventually we'll find the parts. Hopefully this monitor doesn't want to go shooting out the back as soon as I take this last bolt out. This would be a little bit of a pain. I have to kind of hold it. But I'm alright running the J-Rock board until I find it, because the J-Rock board works really, really well. Okay, make sure this is unplugged. It is. Now I just gotta try to get this out of here without snagging the wires for the what a pain. I guess I didn't have to worry about it falling out because it's wedged in here so tightly. I'm gonna bring you guys around back here. So now what I'm gonna have to do is try to get these angle brackets off that they put on to try to clear up a little bit more room to try to get this thing out of here, because these cleats are in the way. And we got the interlock switch here. Filthy monitor, have to clean that. We'll give it a bath. I'll probably wash it today so it's clean. This hardware is all garbage. You got mismatched size bolts and stuff in it. Oh, that one's apparently metric. This one they have it, the threads are stripped, but I think I can get it past that. So hopefully get this thing out of here. Oh, it's so clean. There we go. Okay. I gotta wipe my hands off. You know, I never really looked to see exactly what was in here as far as the wiring harness. It looks like the main harness for the marquee light and everything might be complete. The power brick's in here. Looks like the main harness coming off of it is in here. Obviously there's a JAMA harness in here, which we need to eliminate. I know that J-Rock board runs on a JAMA harness, but I have a JAMA harness in that other cabinet that I'll probably just take out. This is for the speaker wires. This goes to the power supply on the original board set coming off of the power brick. Let's get this JAMA harness out of here, just so it's out of the way. Power cord's actually in good shape. It even has an end with a ground lug on it. All right. What is this? Don't know. Must be control panel. Trying to get these wires out of this clip up here underneath, above the coin door. These look like the original wires. Yes, these are the original wires for the coin door that somebody had added wire length to. So we're going to cut off the extra wire for now. Just leave the rest of that attached to the coin door. Somebody mounted the coin meter to the side wall of the cabinet for some reason. I don't know why, but we're going to rip off those wires. Try to clean up some of this junk. Somebody spliced into this monitor plug. So we're gonna get that out of there. This all looks like part of the original harness. We'll leave that in there for now. This is the speaker wires. We'll just cut it right here for now. Okay, I took out what I needed to for now. We're just gonna throw that away. It's just a mess of wires. We're not going to paint inside the cabinet or anything like that. It's all nice inside, so I don't want to mess with that. Leave it original as possible. Let's go ahead and put the back door back on it. Okay, now I can get these 4 holes filled in that they had drilled for the monitor mounts. Let me go see if I have a dowel rod. I don't know that I have one that small, but I can make one. Because maybe it would be best if we put a little wood in there and then just put a little bit of fiberglass over top of it. So let me go see what I have. Okay, I don't have anything that small, and I looked at it again, and those holes really aren't that big. They're maybe a 1/4 inch. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some tape on the edge of this artwork. I just wanna make sure when I sand the wood around it that I don't hit it. And we'll mix up a little bit of that fiberglass filler with the strands in it, and we can fill in those holes. So I'm gonna go get my grinder and my air hose and everything hooked up, and we'll get these holes filled in. Okay, I got my little angle grinder here. We're gonna grind around the hole. And we're making a divot in the wood, a little dish in the wood around the hole. I'm gonna do the other side, and then we can mix up a little bit of filler. We'll let that dry, sand it, and maybe a little bit over top. Okay. Show you guys again what I'm using. I buy this at Walmart. It's usually the cheapest Bondo glass. It dries fairly quick, but it has the strands of fiberglass in it. And that helps when you span over those holes to keep them from showing through in the future. Regular Bondo always likes to shrink, and you'll see where the holes were originally over time. So we only need a little bit. We only have those 4 holes to fill in. Don't stir your filler, make sure you fold it over. Okay, let's go get these holes filled in. Want to try to pack it in there good. Now I'm going to try to scrape off a bunch of it around the outer perimeter. Okay. This side's real close to the artwork. Okay, we will let that dry, and then we're going to come back and sand those spots down. I forgot about those little spots on the bottom on the front, so I'm mixing up a little bit more of this fiberglass filler And we're gonna put a little bit on those corners down there. They're not bad at all. Just a minor bit of this stuff. Basically it for that. Okay, while I'm waiting for that filler to dry, I'm gonna sand the bottom of the cabinet and a little bit, up top and around the edge here because there's a little bit of nicks I wanna fill in. I'm just gonna use some 320 grit sandpaper. I don't need anything rougher than that. I'm not going crazy, I just want to scuff it up so that the paint will stick better. I'm not even gonna wear a mask because I'm only doing minor stuff here. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. Okay, now I'm gonna mix up some of this U-pull ice glazing. Get it at O'Reilly Auto Parts. And we're gonna fill in some of those nicks on the edge. I contemplated on not even fixing the sides of the cabinet, but might as well touch it up a little bit. Get some clear coat over that original artwork, and then that'll protect it forever from any future damage. Because if the cabinet were to get scratched in the future, it should technically, unless it's a bad scratch, it should technically only scratch the clear coat and hopefully not get into the color. But obviously if you slide the cabinet along a screw hanging out of a wall, you're gonna get a gouge. Okay, let's throw some filler on these nick spots in the corners and stuff. This right here is real close to the artwork. It's gonna be a fun one to sand. Plus, by clearing this cabinet, that's going to keep this thing from any future, I think they call it planking, where the grain starts popping. It should stop that as well. So it's basically preserving it from any future damage. Okay, I'm gonna go hit those couple spots on the other side. Okay, I'm gonna sand down these 2 spots on both sides. I'm gonna use some 80 grit. Just gonna lightly sand it down. Now, you see how I left the fiberglass bigger than the hole? I left it in the divot. That's what I want to do because that is spanning over that hole. Now I'll take a little bit of this glazing putty and put it over top. Okay, I'm gonna go do the other side the same way. Okay, now I'm gonna sand the glazing putty with some 180 grit sandpaper. All right, I'm gonna go grab a paint stick so I can sand real close to those letters there. Okay, I have a little paint stick here and some 180 grit sandpaper. This is a sticky back sandpaper. I'm gonna stick it to the paint stick. And we are going to very carefully sand this down without hitting the artwork. Now, if I hit it a tiny bit, I'll have to touch it up, but I would rather not. So we're just gonna take our time with this. We're getting there. I got a little bit of Bondo on the paint, the blue paint, but I should be able to get it off. And if you scuff the paint a little bit, it's not going to hurt anything because the clear coat will hide that, but you don't want to sand it off either. This is going to need a little bit more filler here. The back corner is still caved in a little bit, so I'm not going to sand any farther up there. And I'll take my paint stick and get these back edges. On the bottom, I just sanded it with the sander. The plywood cabinets don't tend to blow the sides out, you know, blow the Bondo out like the particle board cabinets do. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish sanding down these edges, and I'm gonna mix up a little bit more icing to put on this corner here and those 4 spots. So let me finish this up and then I'll come back. Okay, I'm gonna fill in these last spots that I see that need a little bit of work still. Mixed up a little bit more of the glazing putty. I'm gonna have to run to either the craft store or the Walmart today and get some silver paint for the silver on here. Definitely looks like there's a metallic to it, very slight metallic to it. I thought about using a silver Sharpie, but Sharpie is oil-based, and oil-based doesn't really work well with automotive paint. So I'm going to get a craft paint instead. Now, we're not going to do the traditional auto body filler primer that I normally use. We're going to put a little bit of a gray epoxy sealer over the areas that have the body work. And why I'm doing that is the gray epoxy sealer acts as a primer, okay? But I'm not gonna sand, you don't have to sand it. I can spray it, let it set for a half an hour, and then I can spray right over it with the black paint. Because I don't wanna risk sanding too much along the edge of this artwork and stuff. So the reason why I want to put the sealer on there is just to try to make sure that we'll let that sealer soak into the body filler rather than the black paint, because the black paint, if it soaks into the body filler, it could leave a ring of where it was at, versus the epoxy primer should stop that from happening. So there's just a few spots and a couple on the other, so I'm going to go to get those. Okay, I'm going to sand these spots one more time, and then we should be about ready for that. All right, I'm gonna sit here and get this back corner sanded down, and then the spots on the other side sanded down, and then we'll come back. And what we're gonna do at that point is we're gonna take a gray Scotch-Brite pad, which I'll show it to you, and we are gonna Scotch-Brite pad the whole cabinet over the original artwork and everything. What it's gonna do is put a real fine scratches on everything. And what that's gonna do is that's gonna help my clear coat adhere to everything, so that if I spray over this without scuffing this up at all, I run the risk of that clear coat literally just peeling off in sheets because this is too smooth of a surface. And I don't know if there's any oils or anything like that on it. So we're gonna scuff this up lightly. It's not going to ruin the artwork. It's just gonna give it a little bit of a texture for the clear to stick to. And then after that, we're gonna get it in the spray booth and we are gonna tape off as much as we can of this artwork, minus, you know, little things that are sticking out. And we'll go get some liquid mask, which I've never tried before. And we will liquid mask anything that's sticking out past the tape. And then we'll be able to put our gray sealer over these areas where the bare wood and the filler are showing. And then we'll paint the black. And then once the black sits for about an hour, we can untape the artwork. And then at that point, we can brush touch what we need to brush touch, and then we'll be ready to clear coat it. So this is gonna be a really long video. I don't know if I should split it into two or not, but we'll see what happens. So I'm gonna go ahead and sand the rest of this, and then we'll be ready to Scotch-Brite it. Okay, all the areas are sanded down. This is the gray Scotch-Brite pad I'm gonna use. They sell them in gray and maroon, which I think they call them red. So this one is less abrasive than the maroon one. So I'm gonna take this tape off of here. I am gonna split this into two videos. I think what I'm gonna do is we're going to get this in the spray booth and we are going to get it taped off, and then we'll end that video, and then we'll go to pick up some liquid mask, which I'm not sure if I'm gonna go to like Joann Fabrics and see if they have it, because I need to get some craft paint, or I know Home Depot and Lowe's sells a liquid mask as well. So I'm not sure where we'll get that from. Might have to make two different stops to two different places to get what we need, but it is what it is. And that second video, we'll get the stuff we need. We'll come back, we'll apply the liquid mask to everywhere that we need to, and then we'll put the gray on, the gray sealer over the Bondo areas, and then we will do the black, and then we'll work on brush touching it up, and then we'll clear it. So I think that'll probably make a good second video of this artwork restoration, because if I try to do this all in one video, I'm gonna have to skip a lot of steps and a lot of things that I do, because it'll be a 3-hour video. So I think it's best to we'll just split it into two. So what I'm gonna do now is take that gray Scotch-Brite pad, and we are going to go over this cabinet with it, artwork and all. And I'm gonna show you what it looks like. And you can see how it's leaving just ever so slight marks in it. So basically what it's doing is, okay, let me show you on like the black so you get the idea. See how that black has a shine to it? Now that shine is gone. See that? That's all we need to do. Just enough scuffing up for the clear to have something to bite to. So we're not looking to scrub it to the point where we start ruining the original paint job, but we need to scuff it up. There are some clear stickers on here. They must have had an R. I'm not going to peel those stickers off. I'm afraid if I peel those stickers off, I'm going to take the artwork with it. So we're just gonna leave those, and we're just gonna spray clear over them. It is what it is. There's one here at the end of the Sinistar too. So this is all we're doing to the cabinet. I want to try to preserve the wood grain. There's no real planking. The little bit of planking in the wood was down in the bottom here, and I sanded it with the sander, so we don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and Scotch-Brite the back. The back, the top, both sides, and the front with this gray pad. And I'm going to get the cabinet all blown off and everything, and then we're going to come back. We'll have it in the spray booth, and we'll start taping off this side art. Oh, I got to take those latches off too. Or do I just leave those on and tape them off? I might just leave them on and tape them off. Okay, it's all scuffed up in the spray booth here. So now we can start taping everything off. Oh, I forgot to show you guys. The original paperwork for the Cinestar board set is in the back door of the cabinet. So that's one step closer to getting what I need for the original stuff inside. So let's start taping this off. I'm not going to show obviously the whole process of taping this because it's going to take a while. But we'll use this thinner 3/4 inch tape and we should be able to do this circle. I have some thinner stuff if we need it. You just want to take your time and go around this outer edge. And this circle isn't perfectly round when you look at it because of the overspray. And it's okay if a tiny bit of blue is hanging out past the tape line. That's not a big deal. Sometimes it's easier if a tiny bit is hanging out because it gives you the ability to follow that edge a little bit better. Okay, we'll fill in the center afterwards. This we can do like this. Got a razor blade here. So what we can do is lift this back a little bit just to see where it's at. And we can carefully cut along there. Just like that. Let's try this. See, this black in here I'm not going to worry about. I'm just going to go like this and make a circle out of this whole thing. And when we put the black paint on, I want to be careful. I don't want to put a ton of it around this tape. I don't want to have a real thick tape line of black paint. And it's always best when you tape stuff like this, if you can use one continuous piece of tape rather than a bunch of little pieces. If you start using a bunch of little pieces, you'll get a bunch of jagged lines versus one flowing piece all the way around the cabinet. When you cut, you got to be real careful. You don't want to dig a deep groove into the cabinet. And obviously, the more time you spend prepping this, the better the outcome. So this whole center, we could put a piece of paper and tape it to that outer piece of tape. I almost wonder if I could probably get this stuff too with the tape so I don't have to use liquid mask on this. Might not have to use liquid mask. Okay, we got 2 here, 2 there, and 2 there. So I'm gonna stop the camera for a little bit, finish up that. I'm gonna tape this off with paper and this, and then we'll come back and we'll work on the Cinestar where it says Sinistar. Okay, the top circle and that are all taped off. Now let's start on the lettering here. I wonder, I might be able to get this without using liquid mask, which would be good. But when I do the Satan's Hollow cabinet, I don't see me being able to tape off that artwork. So I'll probably have to use it on that. When I spray my black, I'm going to try to stay away from the edge here so I can try to keep the original tiny bit of overspray that there is. So basically, I'm gonna go around the whole outside perimeter of the letters like that with tape. And then we'll fill in the center, and then we'll do this zigzag lightning bolt looking thing down here. So we're not gonna need liquid mask on this cabinet. The only thing we're gonna have to go get is silver paint for the artwork. And maybe a couple more colors of red and blue, just to be on the safe side. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish off taping this and the lightning bolt looking thing. And then we can, I'll come back and show you what this side looks like. Okay, first side is taped off. One more side to go. And then I'm going to tape off the coin eject buttons, take this lock out because we're not going to use that lock. I need to put plastic or paper over this because I don't want to get overspray on that. I need to tape this off, but that's all basic stuff. So this took me probably a half an hour to 45 minutes to tape off, which isn't horrible, you know. So I'm gonna go do the other side and I'll come back after I get everything masked off. Okay, the game is all taped off. What I'm gonna do on this video is we're gonna wipe this thing down. That tag is completely ripped. I'm just gonna try to stay away from it when I spray. I'm gonna wipe this down and we're gonna put the gray epoxy sealer on these bare spots. And then I'm gonna end this video, and on the next video later today, we will be doing the paint work and clear coat on this cabinet. Also, I wanted to mention something. If anybody has watches Overtime Arcade or doesn't know about Overtime Arcade, he is like 14 subscribers away from hitting his 1,000 goal. So if you guys would please subscribe to Overtime Arcade. His name is Charlie, great guy. That would be awesome help to him to hitting his goal of 1,000. So, all right, let me go get in some sealer mixed up and then we will spray these spots. Okay, this is the sealer primer I'm gonna use. Does not need to be sanded. It is a 5-to-1 mix, 5 parts of sealer, 1 part of hardener. And we're just gonna mix up a little bit to hit the bare spots on the cabinet. And then we'll end this video because this stuff takes about an hour to dry. And then when we come back, we will start with the black paint. 5-to-1. I need to wipe off the cabinet with some wax and grease remover still. We'll do that in a minute. Get this mixed up. Just gonna dust a coat on, just enough to cover those areas, and then this will soak into the Bondo and stuff like that. So when we go to put the black paint on, we don't have to worry about that. That should be enough. If I have to mix more, I can. Now I'm gonna put a little bit of reducer in it just to thin it out. Let's go out there and wipe that cabinet down. Grab my wax and grease remover. I think there's enough in here to do it. I don't want to have to refill it. I don't have to right now. Turn on some more lights. All right, I'm just gonna spray. I'm not gonna go real heavy with it because I don't want to get that paper real saturated. So I'm just gonna go around. We'll wipe it all down. So I'm gonna go around and do all the sides like that. Okay, we're gonna tack cloth the cabinet off, and then we'll hit those bare spots. Turn the fans on here real quick.